Today is Monday, August 10th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're beginning We Agnostics, page 30. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on step 4, we'll read page 52. And of course, we'll read NA's Just for Today and Al-Anon's Courage to Change. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this beautiful Monday morning, my friends. It is a start of a new week. And the nice thing is, we can start our week over at any time throughout the day. And it's Friday. I've always heard that. And, life's good over here. I got a giant cup of coffee in my Ninja Turtles mug that one's very, very special student gave me. So every time I drink out of it, I think of her. And it reminds me of why I do what I do. And speaking of students, I got my new batch of students, my 17th year. And, one thing I've been trying to do is pray for them more, and try to work the program in my own way to help serve them. And when I look at it through that lens, it's actually made the job a little easier. I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, my friends, I'm rambling. Let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading out of There's a Solution, they were setting up the rest of the book. And I apologize. I said We Agnostics. I was getting ahead of myself. That's the chapter 4. Chapter 3 is more about alcoholism. And buddy, this first page describes me to a T. So we'll go ahead and get started. Page 30. Chapter 3, more about alcoholism. Most of us have been unwilling to admit that we are real alcoholics. No person likes to think that he is bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it's not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove that we could drink like other people. The idea that somehow, someday he will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people, or presently may be, has to be smashed. We alcoholics are men and women who have lost the ability to control our drinking. We know that no real alcoholic ever recovers control. All of us felt at times that we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, were inevitably followed by still less control, which led in time to pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our type are in the grip of a progressive illness. Over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. We're like men who have lost their legs. They never grow new ones. Neither does there appear to be any kind of treatment which will make the alcoholic of our kind like other men. We've tried every imaginable remedy. In some instances, there's been brief recovery, followed always by still a worse relapse. Physicians who are familiar with alcoholism agree that there is no such thing as making a normal drinker out of an alcoholic. Science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on step 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And if you recall from the last couple of days of reading, we've been talking about the consequences of some of the instincts that have gone crazy. and we also talked about the rebuttals for wanting to do the inventory, like the depressive one who doesn't want to do it. We talked about the prideful one that doesn't think they have any character defects. And we talked about the deflector, the one that's going to blame everybody else for the things that they did. And we've had hypothetical answers for each one of those arguments. And now we're on page 52, and we're going to talk about how to turn up some of the root causes here in our inventory. So we're on page 52. The most common symptoms of emotional insecurity are worry, anger, self-pity, and depression. These stem from causes which sometimes seem to be within us, and at other times come from without. To take inventory in this respect, we ought to consider carefully all personal relationships which bring continuous or recurring trouble. It should be remembered that this kind of insecurity may arise in any area where instincts are threatened. Questioning directed to this end might run like this. Looking at both past and present, what sex situations have caused me anxiety, bitterness, frustration, or depression? Appraising each situation fairly, can I see where I have been at fault? Did these perplexities beset me because of selfish or unreasonable demands? Or, if my disturbance was seemingly caused by the behavior of others, why do I lack the ability to accept conditions I cannot change? These are the sort of fundamental inquiries that can disclose the source of my discomfort and indicate whether I may be able to alter my own conduct and so adjust myself serenely to self-discipline. Suppose that financial insecurity constantly arouses these same feelings. I can ask myself, to what extent have my own mistakes fed my gnawing anxieties? And if the actions of others are part of the cause, what can I do about that? If I am unable to change the present state of affairs, am I willing to take the measures necessary to shape my life to conditions as they are? Questions like these, more of which will come to mind easily in each individual case, will help turn up those root causes. NA just for today, August 10th. Regular prayer and meditation. Most of us pray when we are hurting. We learn that if we pray regularly, we won't be hurting as often or as intensely. Basic text, page 45. Regular prayer and meditation are two more key elements in our new pattern of living. Our act of addiction was more than just a bad habit waiting to be broken by force of will. Our addiction was a negative, draining experience that stole all of our positive energy. That dependence was so total, it prevented us from developing any kind of reliance on a higher power. From the very beginning of our recovery, our higher power has been the force that's brought us freedom. First, it relieved us of our compulsion to keep taking drugs, even when we knew that they were killing us. Then it gave us freedom from more deeply ingrained aspects of our disease. Our higher power gave us the direction, the strength, and the courage to inventory ourselves, to admit out loud to another person what our lives had been like, perhaps for the first time, to begin seeking release from the chronic defects of character underlying our troubles, and at last, to make amends for the wrongs that we have done. That first contact with a higher power and that first freedom has grown into a life full of freedom. We maintain that freedom by maintaining and improving our conscious contact with our higher power through regular prayer and meditation. Just for today, I will make a commitment to include regular prayer and meditation in my new pattern of living. Al-Anon's Courage to Change, August 10th. At an Al-Anon meeting, we discussed the way that our housekeeping habits reflect the effects of alcoholism. One person shared that his life felt completely unmanageable unless his house was perfectly neat. Tidiness gave him an illusion of control. Others, including me, spoke of floors so strewn with clothes, books, and papers that we could not cross the room without stepping on or tripping over something. I had always considered this just a bad habit until I heard someone share that this clutter was her way of keeping people at a distance, isolating. Then I remember that in the house where I grew up, clutter had served just for this function. I was always afraid to invite friends over because everything was too messy. It was uncomfortable to realize that I was doing the same thing in adulthood that had kept me isolated as a child. Today's reminder: by taking a fresh look at what I thought of was just a bad habit, I can free my life from some clutter today. I can consider hidden motives for that habit without condemning myself or my family. Clutter doesn't have to be physical. I may also find areas of my mental, spiritual, or emotional life that are in disarray. I can heal without making moral judgments about myself or others. The Al-Anon program can give me a new view of my world by helping me to see myself more clearly. Quote from One Day at a Time in Al-Anon. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. And man, this Al-Anon reading is really hitting hard today. It reminds me of the inventory that we do in step 4, right? By taking a fresh look at what I thought of as just a bad habit, I can free my life of some clutter today. You know, when I'm taking inventory, it's like, for me, it's like cleaning out the garage or something like that, right? There are certain things that are good things that I might need, some tools that are going to be very, very helpful. Or in my case, you know, I've got tools, but on the other side of the garage, I got a bunch of books that I really love and a bunch of other nerdy stuff. But anyway, but also there's clutter over time. Like I'm looking right now, I got a few boxes I got to clear out. My wife's got a few shelves that I'm going to pack up for her today. So there's certain things that kind of get in the way that we can get rid of. Real talk for me, clutter in my mind is anxiety, self-talk. I guess I'm a naturally negative person, because my default switch is to talk trash about myself and to say that I don't fit in and all these things. So that low self-esteem and anxiety, that's clutter. Well, what do I do with that? For me, I turn it over my higher power every day and go, God, please replace this anxiety that I'm feeling or this self-talk that I'm feeling with contentment, with peace. And even when I don't feel it, one thing that helps me more than anything is working with another alcoholic. So even when I'm feeling down, I'll reach out to another friend, text them, be like, hey, how you doing? And by getting out of myself and my own head and focusing, forcing myself to focus on somebody else and their issues and try to help them, as a byproduct, that anxiety goes away. That negative self-talk goes away. It reminds me of what Bill says in a story. I think it's in there where it says, the one surefire thing that works is working with another alcoholic when all else fails. And that really has helped me. So when I'm in my head, all I got to do is fall back on my training. And what's my training? It's what these books tell me to do. And what a lot of the folks in the fellowship would tell me to do that somehow seem to stick and work, you know? It's crazy how that works. But if I do this every single day, just like the NA reading said, truly inside it leads to freedom and contentment in myself. And, one last thing about taking care of this clutter. Like, say if I walk in the garage and think, oh my God, I can't believe I left these boxes in here. Oh my gosh, you idiot. You need to get rid of this stuff. Why do you always do? Instead of talking like that, just pick up the box. Put it in the trash can. Get rid of it and let it go. Just like the reading says here, I can heal without making moral judgments about myself. This isn't a shame session. This is just how we get to work. An objective inventory. Great stuff. But my friends, that's all we have time for today. I hope you all have a great one. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of NA, Al-Anon, AA, any other sect. I'm just a joyful drunk in this lifeboat recovery. Honor to be here another day. Thank you guys, as always, for the emails, bigbookdaily@gmail.com. Also, nobody's called the voicemail in a while. I love to hear from you there too. So the number is 865-309-5486. Once again, 865-309-5486. Would love to hear from you. But with that, my friends, I hope you have a great one. And if we're given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.